isn't just another product announcement. What we're talking about today is a strategic move shaking the very foundations of the AI world. For years, Microsoft has been seen as the essential, but perhaps junior partner to OpenAI, the deep pockets and the cloud infrastructure that powered the ChatGPT revolution. But that era is over. In a series of moves that flew slightly under the radar, Microsoft has just made its declaration of AI independence. They've unveiled 3 distinct innovations: a ridiculously efficient reasoning model that outsmarts competitors 40 times its size, their very first homegrown foundation model designed to power the future of Copilot, and a voice generation AI so fast it borders on science fiction. This isn't just about new tech. This is a calculated power play. It's a strategic pivot away from a multi-billion-dollar partner and about Microsoft's audacious plan to own the entire AI pipeline, from the silicon all the way to the user experience in Windows and Office. So, stick around, because in this video, we're not just going to break down what these new models are. We're going to connect the dots and explain why this is Microsoft's most important strategic move in a decade and what it means for its increasingly complicated relationship with OpenAI. All right, let's start with the most shocking result, the one that completely upends the industry's obsession with size. Meet R-Star 2 Agent. On screen, you're looking at the leaderboard for the Amy benchmark, a series of brutally difficult math competition problems designed to test an AI's reasoning ability. Now look closely at the numbers. The model with the top score, R-Star 2 Agent, has a remarkable 80.6%. The model it beat, DeepSeek R1, is a well-respected frontier model. But here's the kicker. R-Star 2 Agent has 14 billion parameters. The DeepSeek model it surpassed has 671 billion parameters. Let me repeat that. A 14 billion parameter model, more than 40 times smaller, achieved a better score. And to add another layer of insanity, Microsoft trained this model in just 1 week using only 64 GPUs. That is a fraction of the resources typically used to train frontier models. So the immediate question is, how? How is that even possible? The answer lies in a fundamental shift in philosophy. For years, the dominant approach to improving AI reasoning has been something called chain of thought. The idea was simple: just make the model think longer. Force it to write out its step-by-step reasoning, and hopefully, with a long enough internal monologue, it would catch its own mistakes. The problem is, it often doesn't. If an AI makes a small logical error in step 1 of a 50-step process, it usually just doubles down on that mistake, confidently building a skyscraper of flawless logic on a cracked foundation. Microsoft's researchers looked at this and proposed a new paradigm. Instead of thinking longer, what if we could make the model think smarter? This is where agentic reinforcement learning comes in. Instead of just being a passive text generator, R-Star 2 Agent is an active agent. It has tools. Specifically, it has access to a Python code interpreter. Think of it like this. Chain of thought is a detective locked in an office, forced to solve a case using only the files on their desk. Agentic reasoning is a detective who can leave the office, go to the crime scene, run forensic tests, and use the results of those tests to adapt their theory in real time. When faced with a complex math problem, R-Star 2 Agent can pause, write a piece of code to test a hypothesis, and execute it. It gets immediate feedback, either a correct result or an error message. It then reflects on that feedback and decides its next move. This loop of action, feedback, and reflection allows it to correct its own errors and verify its path against the objective truth of a code environment. But giving an AI a calculator sounds simple. The real genius is in how Microsoft made this process work at scale, and they did it by perfecting 3 key pillars. First, the infrastructure. An agentic model can make thousands of tool calls for a single problem. This creates a massive computational bottleneck. So Microsoft built a specialized, high-throughput Python environment that could handle an incredible 45,000 concurrent tool calls, returning feedback in just 0.3 seconds. They also built a dynamic scheduler that intelligently distributes the workload across all available GPUs in real time, eliminating idle time and maximizing efficiency. This infrastructure is the unsung hero that makes the entire Think Smarter approach feasible. Second, the algorithm. Learning in an environment with tools is noisy. The AI can write bad code or get unhelpful errors. To solve this, Microsoft developed a novel algorithm called GRPOROC. That's a mouthful, but the concept is brilliant. Imagine you're teaching a student. You don't just reward them for getting the final answer right. You want to reward them for showing clean, efficient work. GRPOROC does exactly that. For every problem, the model generates a big pool of potential solutions. The algorithm then filters the successful ones, selectively keeping only the highest quality solutions, the ones with concise reasoning and minimal errors. Crucially, it also keeps a diverse sample of all the failed attempts. This ensures the model learns not just what the perfect solution looks like, but also learns to recognize a wide variety of mistakes. It's like a coach who shows game tape of both the perfect touchdown play and 10 different ways a play can fall apart. And the final pillar is the multi-stage training recipe. This is where it gets really clever. In stage 1, they didn't even let the model reason about math. They started by fine-tuning it on general tasks to make its responses short and concise, and then trained it using the agentic learning process, but with a strict 8,000 token limit. This forced the model to discover computationally cheap and efficient strategies from the very beginning. In stage 2, they increased the limit to 12,000 tokens, allowing the model to tackle more complex problems, but now armed with the efficient habits it learned in the first stage. And in stage 3, they filtered the training data to focus exclusively on the most difficult problems that the model failed to solve in the previous stages. All of the computational power was dedicated to pushing the absolute limits of its ability. This combination of hyper-efficient infrastructure, a smart learning algorithm, and a progressive training curriculum is what allowed a 14B model to punch so far above its weight. It's definitive proof that the future of AI isn't just about building bigger models, it's about building smarter ones. So, while R-Star 2 Agent shows Microsoft's mastery in building specialized, hyper-efficient models, another, arguably more significant development was happening in parallel. The company was finally building its own house. For years, when you used an advanced AI feature in a Microsoft product, you were very likely using technology from OpenAI. With the launch of MAI-1 Preview, that's beginning to change. MAI-1 Preview is Microsoft's first proprietary, in-house foundation model, developed end-to-end on their own infrastructure. It was trained on a massive cluster of roughly 15,000 of NVIDIA's top-tier H100 GPUs. Now that's a huge number, but it's a strategic one. It's a significant investment that proves they're serious, but it's also a fraction of the 100,000 plus GPUs that competitors like xAI have reportedly used, reinforcing that theme of efficiency. Now, Microsoft has been very clear about the goal for this model. It isn't designed to be a god model that tops every single academic benchmark. Instead, it's optimized for consumer-focused applications. It's built to be great at following instructions and having helpful conversational interactions. Exactly what's needed to power the next generation of Copilot. And instead of just publishing a list of internal scores, Microsoft took a bolder approach. They put MAI-1 Preview on LM Arena, a public platform where users blindly rank the outputs of anonymous models. At its debut, it ranked very competitively, landing around 13th or 15th place. That put it above models like GPT 4.1 Flash and right in the neighborhood of Google's Gemini 2.5 Flash. For a first-generation model, that is an incredibly strong showing. It's Microsoft planting a flag in the ground, proving they can build their own foundation and are no longer solely dependent on an external partner for their core AI capabilities. But the text model was only half of the announcement. They also unveiled MAI Voice 1. And this is where things get truly impressive. MAI Voice 1 is a new text-to-speech model, and its defining feature is speed. Microsoft claims it can generate a full 1 minute of high-fidelity, natural-sounding audio in under 1 second, using only a single GPU. That level of efficiency is a game-changer. It makes real-time, interactive voice applications at a massive scale not just possible, but cheap. Of course, the other big question is quality. The market leader for realistic AI voices is widely considered to be 11 Labs. So how does MAI Voice 1 stack up? Well, don't just take my word for it. Let's listen. I'm going to have MAI Voice 1, 11 Labs, and a standard Google Cloud TTS voice. Here is my generation. Let's listen. The first will be from Microsoft's MAI Voice 1. The second is Google TTS voice. The last voice is 11 Labs.
On a sunny afternoon, a spirited 4-year-old named Jamie approached a grizzled pirate who was lounging by the docks.
"Arr, what be ye wantin', wee one? This crew ain't for the faint of heart."
Jamie's eyes sparkled with excitement as they replied,
"I want to be a pirate. I want to sail the seas and find treasure. Can I join your crew, please?"
The pirate scratched his beard, chuckling at the...
Hi, my name is Lily, and I am a rapper from Philly.
For 3 years, I thought I had the perfect marriage. My wife Isabella seemed loyal, my business was growing, and my family respected me.
What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. To my ear, the expressiveness and natural tone of MAI Voice 1 are shockingly good, putting it right in the same league as the very best. And when you combine that quality with its unprecedented efficiency, you have a model that's perfectly designed for mass deployment. In fact, it's already being used to power AI-narrated news briefings in Copilot Daily, and you can test it yourself in Copilot Labs. This brings us to the core business strategy here. Microsoft's primary business isn't selling raw AI model access. It's selling integrated software like Office 365, platforms like Windows, and cloud services through Azure. By building their own good enough or even great foundation models, they gain complete control over their cost structure and product roadmap. They eliminate licensing fees to a third party and can integrate these capabilities deeper and faster into their ecosystem. The goal isn't just to win on a leaderboard, it's to win by creating a superior, seamless user experience powered by their own cost-effective proprietary technology. So a hyper-efficient reasoning model and 2 highly capable in-house foundation models. What does this all mean when you put it together? It means we have to talk about the elephant in the room, OpenAI. For years, the Microsoft-OpenAI partnership has been portrayed as a perfect symbiosis. But beneath the surface, the strategic currents have been shifting, and these announcements are the clearest sign yet that the relationship is being fundamentally recalibrated. Recent reports have pointed to growing tensions. Negotiations to rework their commercial contract have been described as complex and protracted. Microsoft has reportedly backed away from funding certain data center expansions for future OpenAI training. And at the same time, OpenAI has begun looking to diversify its cloud infrastructure, seeking partnerships with Microsoft's direct competitors like Google. One of the biggest points of contention is reportedly a provision in their contract known as the AGI clause. This clause allegedly gives OpenAI the right to revoke Microsoft's access to its intellectual property if it ever develops artificial general intelligence. Microsoft is pushing to have this clause removed, while OpenAI wants to keep it as a crucial piece of leverage. This single disagreement reveals a fundamental conflict over who has ultimate control. The launch of MAI 1 Preview changes the dynamic entirely. Microsoft is no longer just an investor and a platform provider. It is now a direct competitor in the development of foundation models. The relationship has shifted from mutual dependence to co-opetition, a state where they collaborate in some areas while being direct rivals in others. And this all fits into Microsoft's grand vision for the future, which they laid out at their Build 2025 conference. Their goal is to build what they call an open agentic web, a future where autonomous AI agents perform complex tasks for us. Their strategy is to create a deeply integrated, end-to-end platform for this future. Imagine an agent factory, where you use Azure AI to build models, GitHub to develop the agents, and then deploy them directly onto Windows and Office 365, the surfaces where billions of people do their work. The monetization vehicle for all of this is, of course, Copilot. By powering Copilot with their own specialized in-house models, Microsoft can create faster, cheaper, and more deeply integrated experiences than would ever be possible by just layering a third-party model on top. This leads us to the final, crucial takeaway. The nature of the AI arms race is changing. The success of R-Star 2 Agent proves that algorithmic innovation can be more impactful than raw scale. The competitive calculus is shifting from who has the largest GPU cluster to who has the most intelligent training methodology. This new front in the AI war plays directly to Microsoft's historic strengths in large-scale systems research and engineering. Their strategy is not to build one single God model, but to orchestrate a suite of specialized models. R*2 Agent for expert reasoning, MAI1 Preview for consumer conversation, MAI Voice 1 for speech, each optimized for its specific job. Ultimately, the business models of Microsoft and OpenAI are on a collision course. Every dollar an enterprise spends on OpenAI's API is a dollar not spent on a Microsoft Copilot license or an Azure AI service. By building its own models, Microsoft is executing a classic platform defense. They are systematically building their own in-house alternatives to control costs, accelerate integration, and capture the entire value stream from their customers. So let's recap. What we're seeing is not just a few new models, it's a cohesive three-pronged strategy. First, Microsoft is claiming thought leadership in the next paradigm of AI with the Agentic AI of R*2 Agent. Second, they're proving that the race is no longer just about scale, but about algorithmic and infrastructural efficiency. And third, and most importantly, they are building a secure and independent technological foundation, signaling their strategic independence from OpenAI. This move intensifies the competition and sets the stage for a new era of innovation, one that will be driven less by brute force and more by vertical integration and algorithmic ingenuity. The AI world just got a lot more interesting. If you want to try these new tools out for yourself, you can. To test the new voice model, head over to Copilot Labs. To see how MAI1 Preview compares to other top models, you can check out the LM Arena leaderboard. And for the developers out there, the research and code for R*2 Agent are available on GitHub. What do you think about this strategic shift from Microsoft? Is this the beginning of the end for their partnership with OpenAI? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit that like button and subscribe for more analysis on the future of AI. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.